Hello Westlake, and welcome to today's episode of Historic News.
Topic of discussion today will be 1959. Let's get started.
Today is a sad day in 1959. Legendary musician Buddy Holly has been killed in a plane crash. Luckily, just days before his death, we got an up-close live interview. This is a truly sad day for America.
Alright, buddy. Describe your life growing up.
Well, Paul, I was born in Texas, and for my whole life, all I wanted to do was music. From an early age, I started playing instruments such as the guitar, and I started writing my own songs. In fact, in my knowledge, I am among the first musicians to compose, write, and sing all my own songs in concert. A few years ago, I met a good friend of mine named Elvis Presley. I'm happy to say that I tried my best to help him out and get to where he is now. That truly is my goal, to help as many people get into the world of music as possible. I hope to influence as many people as I can throughout my life. That will, without a doubt, be my life goal.
What makes you unique compared to all other musicians?
Well, you know, I think the way my band goes will set the template for bands in the future. My band consists of 2 guitarists, 1 bass, and 1 drummer. And before me, there weren't that many people. In fact, there was nobody running a band in that band. So,
What is your ultimate goal through songwriting?
hoping in my near future, I can become a broad staple in the rock and roll culture. And I really just want to help future music development, as well as change the history of rock.
What are you trying to do through your music?
All I want to do with my life is influence the world of rock and roll as much as possible.
Almost 7 years to make, spending almost 4 hours long, looks to be a real winner.
Ben-Hur is a 1959 epic film in Technicolor, directed by William Wyler and starring Charlton Heston, Stephen Boyd, Jack Hawkins, Hugh Griffith, and Haya Harriet. It won 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. A remake of the 1925 silent film with the same name, Ben-Hur was adapted from Lew Wallace's 1880 novel Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ. The screenplay is credited to Carl Thunberg, but includes contributions from Maxwell Anderson, S.N. Berman, Gore Vidal, and Christopher Fry. The motion picture was the most expensive ever at the time, and its sets were the largest yet built for a film. The picture contains a 9-minute chariot race, which has become one of the most famous sequences in cinema. The score, composed by Miklos Rosa, was highly influential on cinema for more than 15 years and is the longest ever composed for a motion picture. This year in 1959, the United States has launched 4 monkeys into space. Just this May, 2 monkeys, Abel and Miss Baker, became the first monkeys to be successfully launched in space and returned safely. Unfortunately, Miss Baker died just 3 days later, but Abel lived to be 27 years old and died in 1984. These monkeys were launched to space to test both the effects of space-time to humans, as well as the emergency procedures one should take if disaster strikes while on travel to space.
Throughout the last decades, the Mafia has become a very influential part of American culture. We caught up with them live.
The Mafia emerged in New York's Lower East Side and other areas of the East Coast of the United States during the 19th century following waves of Italian immigration, especially from Sicily. Its It has its roots in the Sicilian Mafia, but it is a separate organization in the United States. Neapolitan Calabria and other Italian criminal groups, as well as independent Italian-American criminals, eventually merged with the Sicilians to create the modern Pan-Italian Mafia in North America. Today, the American Mafia cooperates in various criminal activities with the Sicilian Mafia and other Italian organized crime groups, such as Camorra and Sacra Corona Unita.
In other news, a new toy called the hula hoop has recently become a new fad. Everywhere, children and even adults can be seen swirling these large plastic hoops around their waist. The exact source is not known, but their popularity has grown substantially in the last couple months.
A hula hoop is a toy hoop that is twirled around the waist, limbs, or neck. Although the exact origins of hula hoops are unknown, children and adults around the world have played with hoops, twirling, rolling, and throwing them throughout history. Hula hoops for children generally measure approximately 71 centimeters in diameter, and those for adults are around 1.02 meters. Traditional materials for hoops include willow, rattan, grapevines, and stiff grasses. Today, they are usually made of plastic tubing. Plastic hula hoops are often filled with rocks or material which serve as weights to carry the hoop around the body.
And now for our world perspective. On January 1st, Castro and his movement assumed power and began public trials and executions of the members of the Batista government. A graduate of Columbia University, Castro climbed to power and has ultimately become the Prime Minister of Cuba.
Fidel Castro led a campaign to overthrow the Batista regime. The communist leader took over in Cuba and became the prime minister. Involving himself in armed rebellions against the right-wing governments in the Dominican Republic and Colombia, Castro concluded that the U.S.-backed Cuban president Fulgencio Batista, who was widely seen as a dictator, had to be overthrown. To this end, he led a failed armed attack on the Moncada barracks in 1953. Today, 6 years later, using guerrilla warfare tactics, he has overthrown Batista and is now the official prime minister.
Ford Motor Company introduced the 1958 Ford Edsel on September 4, 1957, after much fanfare. Initial sales were disappointing to say the least. Ford had hoped to sell 200,000 of the 1958 model, but only ended up producing 68,045. To try and bolster sales, Ford redesigned the car and removed some features that had not done well in the 1958s. But again, sales were very low compared to expectations. Only a quarter of the 1959s were ever sold. Ford has officially decided to stop production of the Edsel.
Clear Lake, California. Buddy Holly's plane crashes and kills Holly instantly. This was an extreme blow to music history during the 1950s and influenced future music. Rome, Italy. Ben-Hur is shot. This near 4-hour film is among the most influential in history. Ben-Hur goes on to win 11 Academy Awards, smashing the prior record. Smithsonian Institute, Washington, D.C. Able, the first monkey ever launched to space and returned unharmed, is stationed here in a preserved case. He is on display for the public. This monkey helped in the space race against Russia and is considered a vital turning point in history. New York, USA. The American Mafia continues to cause crime and make money mainly in New York. Finally, though, violence has slowed and the Mafia is becoming less and less influential. Throughout the globe, the hula hoop takes the nation and world by storm, boosting the international economy and providing healthy recreation for children and adults around the world. Cuba. Fidel Castro takes power in Cuba. This is a major blow for the USA as Castro is a communist leader. U.S. fears communism will spread and their awareness increases. Dearborn, Michigan. The Ford Edsel is discontinued. This car was meant to be a staple in the Ford lineup and provide major sales. It did none of this and is considered a complete failure.
That concludes our news broadcast.
1959. It's been real.
Cause I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. You know that I